Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. During the declared emergency in the City of Toronto, Committee of Adjustment virtual public hearings are being conducted by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform, and streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. These measures are necessary to comply with physical distancing requirements and a provincial order that limits attendance at public gatherings. This will be a virtual public hearing, and participants who have registered in advance will be able to make their presentations to the committee using WebEx, an online event that is being moderated by city staff. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching it on YouTube. Participants who have registered in advance will be connecting either by their computer, a phone or tablet app, or by telephone. All participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. Only the committee members will be participating by video. Any registered participants will be participating by audio only. We ask that you also mute your devices until you are called on to speak. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. My name is Alan Smithies, and I will chair today's meeting. Joining us on the panel today are Nadini Sankar-Peralta, Giuseppe Bartolo, and Nazila Adarati. Also present are Committee of Adjustment staff Daniel Antonacci, Simon Lamb, and Adam Wills and Brendan Clapp. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning bylaw that applies to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. Anyone in attendance today who wants to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because Committee of Adjustment and the T-Lab will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, decisions may be appealed to the Toronto Local Appeal Body or in some limited circumstances to the Local Planning Appeal Tribunal. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. The hearing procedure is as follows. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant will proceed with their presentation if required. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter into the committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5-minute limit. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters described in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee of the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if it is substantially revised to ensure that the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals either in support or opposed to the application are invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This marks the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Are there any panel members who have a conflict of interest they would like to declare? Ms. Adarati?
I have a conflict of interest in the afternoon session.
Well, yeah, we can deal with that in the afternoon, Ms. Adirati, after 1 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay.
I take it there are no other declarations of conflict of interest? Okay, thank you, folks. There are no files to be closed, I'm advised, so we will now proceed to our agenda with item number 1, which is 10 Harnish Crescent. Is the agent here?
Yes, Joe Knight of Black Lab Architects.
Okay, sir, before you start, I just wanted to let you know, have you seen the city planning report of the 23rd of March, 2020, which that report is recommending refusal of your application. They feel that the coverage is not not appropriate at this location. So if you would like to, I guess, I'll just ask the committee, would the committee like a brief presentation on this item? Okay, thank you. Sir, you have 5 minutes to make a presentation. I suggest you focus your remarks on the city planning comments, specifically
Okay,
the lot coverage you're requesting.
Okay. So firstly, I haven't actually seen that. I didn't receive a copy of that, but I did speak with Michael Romero some time ago when we made our initial application, and it was brought to my attention that the coverage and the second item that we originally applied for, which was the deck area for a second story, were a problem. So my discussion with him was to remove the one variance for the deck and focus just on the coverage. And I wasn't led to believe that there was an issue after that because we'd made that adjustment. And my conversation with him was along the lines of looking at other applications that had been granted. And I referenced like 80 Pembleton Avenue, 86 Pembleton Avenue, which had a higher percentage that was approved of 38.97. And there was also one at 150 Finch Avenue East for 44%. These were found in the research portal that we applied for some time ago. So it was my understanding that we didn't have an issue relative to those applications. And in looking through those applications, there are a number of variances that were also applied for and granted to do with setbacks, of which we managed to avoid. We were very cognizant of, in fact, separating our building more so from the adjacent buildings by not even going as close as we could, and also not going as deep as we could with the building. So although we do have a higher percentage of coverage, we were very cognizant of the setbacks and the height restrictions and staying within all of those things. So although we are higher than some applications that have been granted, that it does seem that the research that I did indicated that others were approved that were higher, and they were in conjunction with a number of other variances that were granted at the same time, whereas we're only applying for one single variance for this 34.59%. So that was my understanding, and I believe that we had addressed this through my conversation with him earlier by removing the other variants and just keeping a focus on this one, which I didn't believe was still an issue. But yeah, as I say, relative to other applications, we had certainly thought that this was quite straightforward by virtue of not requiring other setback or height changes. And we also have a letter of support from our neighbors at 12 Harnish, who have no issue with the application. We met with them, and we tried to contact the neighbors at 8 Harnish, but unfortunately they were not available. A number of times we tried to contact them. So as far as I understand, there was no conflict with the neighbors, and the application was quite straightforward, although the percentage perhaps was a little bit higher, but lower than the ones that I'd seen in the neighborhood that came up in our search for adjacent properties in that zone. But yeah, those are the comments I have.
Okay, sir. I'll just ask, do the committee members have any questions of the applicant? Okay.
I would like to ask for a clarification. So you removed the deck because based on this staff report that we received, it explained that the extra coverage is based on construction of a deck and one-story sunroom addition. And we also received that most of the application do not exceed 32%. So would you please clarify that?
Sir, can you?
Yeah, sorry, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Sorry, I wasn't sure if I'm unmuted.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not sure. There isn't a one-story sunroom addition on this. This is a new build house, so I'm not sure what that would reference. But we did have a large variance for a second-story deck, which sits over top of the garage, and that I believed was the most contentious thing, which we removed completely. And so the variance for that particular item was taken off the application. So we no longer have that. But I'm not sure what the sunroom would be, because it's a two-story house, other than the area over the garage, which is the deck that you referred to, which we have removed.
Yeah, I think the sunroom was in reference to a separate project which exceeded the 32%, which added a sunroom. Some of the comments in here, Joe, are referring to the lot covered permissions are intended in part to regulate and maintain soft landscaping to deal with on-site stormwater management, right? So as part of your plans, I've noticed that you're including for a green roof above the garage, which may help mitigate some of that. Does your proposal consider any use of other permeable pavers or something such that would reduce the hardscape and which may mitigate some of the concerns from the staff report?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a concession that you'd be willing to make as part of this application?
Absolutely. Yeah, we would have no issue with that whatsoever. So we have a driveway and we have a patio to the rear. All of those we'd be absolutely willing to take that on board. And if there's comments that could be added to the application, if it is approved that allow us to do that, then that's not an issue at all.
Sorry, the chair is trying to say something there.
Mr. Bartolo, if you get a chance, can you please speak up a bit? Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. How's that? Is that a little bit better?
Yes, that's much
great.
better. Thank you. Any further questions of the speaker? There being none, can I get a motion on this application, please?
I can put forward a motion there, Mr. Chair. So through you, I will propose that this application be approved with the amendment that the driveway be constructed of permeable pavers and it be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan submitted.
Can I make a friendly addition?
Go ahead.
Forestry applies.
Yep, correct. And I'll amend that to include conformity with the conditions as outlined by the memo from Urban Forestry.
Okay, Mr. Bartolo, I'm just to iterate, you're moving approval of the application subject to constructing accordance to the approved plans. The driveway is to be paved in permeable materials. Was there another one that I've missed?
And subject to the conditions of the of Urban Forestry.
Urban Forestry. Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Can I have a show of hands?
I second that, by the way. I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sankar. All those in favor? Opposed? Ms. Adarati opposed. That motion carries. Sir, your application has been approved, subject to the conditions that described in our hearing, which is constructing, according to the approved plans, paving the driveway with permeable materials and urban forestry conditions. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, we are on item number 2, 10 Yorkview Drive.
Hi. Hey, good morning. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, we're on 10
Ken.
Yorkview Drive. Is the
Yes.
is the agent or applicant here?
Yeah, my name is Ali Yi from Alera Engineering and Construction Inc. at behalf of owner for this project. This is a single-family house, demolition old house, built new. We major
Just a moment, madam, before you start. Have you had the opportunity to read the city planning report of the 23rd of March, 2020?
I have a staff report
Pardon
in my
me?
hand. I have a staff report in my hand.
You've seen the
Staff
report.
report.
Okay. Now, have you, are you eliminating variance number 7?
Yes, I will, according the staff report, I will be delete item 7.
So you're proposing to eliminate variance number 7 as recommended by the planning department?
Yes,
Okay. And you're aware that the report also specifies that it's, the planning department recommends approving the application subject to the revised north and south elevation drawings as described in their condition of the report. You've read that as well?
yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
Now, we also had a recommendation from Urban Forestry that this application be deferred due to potential impact on bylaw protected trees. Are you, would you like to defer the application to discuss this, this issue with Urban Forestry?
I got a letter. We will meet on a request.
You don't need to defer it? You're saying you would not like to defer it?
So I said I will meet a forest request.
Okay, I will.
Either pay the city money, is it?
Yeah, you understand that if you don't deal with your urban forestry issues, it would be subject to a condition, and that urban forestry could still refuse to issue permits or refuse your application. You understand that risk?
Yeah, I understand for that one.
Okay, you understand that risk. I'll just ask the committee if it would like to defer this application to deal with the urban forestry issue. As I indicated, Mr. Bartolo, Ms. Adirati, and Ms. Sankar, there is a request from Urban Forestry that the application be deferred to deal with the issue of the impact on bylaw protected trees. Would you like to defer the application? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, I have a motion. I had a motion from Ms. Sankar to defer the application. It was seconded by Ms. Adirati, and it was carried by Ms. Sankar and Ms. Adirati with Mr. Bartolo dissenting. Madam, your application has been deferred to the next available meeting so that you can meet with Urban Forestry to discuss your tree issues. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We'll see you.
Okay.
Make sure you contact Urban Forestry. Oh, I'm sorry.
So we will meet next meeting.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We will meet next meeting. Next hearing meeting, is it? We will defer to next meeting.
Okay. I understand we have people to speak. My apologies, but the application has been deferred to deal with the issue of a number of issues relating to trees on the property that Urban Forestry has requested a deferral. In view of the fact that folks that you've signed up to speak will hear your comments now on the application, but remember, there may be some changes to the application pending whatever happens with those discussions with Urban Forestry. So if you'd like to go forward with your comments, please feel free to do so, but just keep that in mind. Okay. Who is the first speaker? Is that Ms. Aviani? Are you there,
Good
madam?
morning. This is Carmela Alviani. Yes, good morning. I will speak then. So good morning, committee members. My name is Carmela Alviani, and I live directly across from 10 Yorkview Drive. And I share some of the other comments that you may hear from our other neighbors. And my objections are to variances 1, 2, 5, and it was 7, but I understand that they will be removing that, so that's fine. I just feel that the variances will have an impact onto the character of our street, and since I live directly across from this property, it will affect me always because it's right in front of me. I have 2 issues. My first issue is that of the traffic flow on Yorkview Drive. The floor plan shows the new home will have 10 bedrooms. If a home has 10 bedrooms, one can assume that there may be quite a few cars on this property at any given time. Since I live across the street, I do not want to have cars constantly parked on the street, and that may affect me coming in or out of my driveway, and even the neighbors having to always going around them. And I also wouldn't appreciate that, extra cars will be parked on the grass, for example. I do not want that. And my question is, if the developer has received a report from the city transport department regarding the traffic flow, since this portion of Yorkview Drive is a very quiet street up to now, and we don't want to see a large
Madam, if
flow.
I don't mean to interrupt, but just remember that please confine your remarks to the application itself. A lot of that's peripheral. It's not related to the actual application that's before us.
Okay, then.
But remember, madam, the application has been deferred, so you have the opportunity to contact the applicant and to discuss your concerns with them directly before they come back to the committee.
All right, then. Thank you. I apologize.
Just remember, if you could just focus I know that you oftentimes a lot of issues that come up that you're concerned with, but a lot of them are not directly related to the application before us. So
Okay,
just
then.
keep that in mind, but remember it has been deferred so that you have the opportunity to discuss your concerns with the applicant.
All right, then. And may I just bring up one more issue? I realize with the forestry department now there has been deferred because of that, but I just want to reinforce that that is one of my concern, as long as with our neighbors, because there are a lot of trees even in the back that we want to make sure that they are protected, even though they may not be closer to the actual building of the property. But there will be a lot of trucks and things going on in the back and the sides that we want to know that they will be looked after, because we know that there was one cedar hedge that was removed from the property after the property was purchased from the current owners now. And we don't want to see that happening with the other trees that are existing. And the maple tree in the front, for example, doesn't even seem to appear on the drawings, and so we want to make sure we understand what's going to happen with that maple tree in the front of the property, since it's a very beautiful and healthy tree. So I just want to reinforce we are concerned.
Okay, I understand, madam. Thank you. Remember, though, just to emphasize again, the application has been deferred. Make sure that you, I suggest that you also contact the applicant and make your views known to them directly as well. Okay, thank you.
Right then. Thank you.
Ms. DiBiasio, are you there?
Hi,
Helena
yes, can you hear me?
DiBiasio?
Yeah, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, madam. Just before you start, madam, I just wanted to let you know that the application has been deferred because Urban Forestry had requested a deferral due to issues with bylaw protected trees on the property that the applicant has to address with them directly. So the application has been deferred. If you would still like to make your comments, we're certainly prepared to hear them, but please remember that there may be changes made, the applicant will have to come back to the committee again. You will be notified when that application comes back before the committee. So you're welcome to make your comments now, or you may want to hold them off until the applicant comes back with his revised application. You also have the opportunity to address your concerns with the applicant directly.
Okay, I appreciate that. I am at this time, given that it's being deferred, I'd like to hold off on sharing my concerns with the property, but I will review the changes that are made after the application has been reviewed by forestry, and we'll revisit then at that time if necessary.
Thank you very much, madam. That's a very prudent measure. Just remember that you also have the opportunity to contact the applicant's contact information is available from the committee. You can also get a hold of them directly as well. And remember, as I indicated, you will be notified when the application is resubmitted, and you'll get a new notification of when the next hearing will be scheduled.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you for your patience. Ms. McConnell, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, Ms. McConnell, thank you for waiting. I just wanted to let you know, if you didn't hear already, the applicant has deferred their application in order to deal with urban forestry issues, which means that the application will come back to the committee in a revised form, and it will also be recirculated to the neighborhood, and you'll have the opportunity to comment at that time as well. You can also comment now if you'd like. We'll certainly take your comments.
That's fine. Thank you very much for the opportunity. We'll certainly pass and wait for the new application. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, madam. Mr. McClelland, are you there?
Yes. Yes. Good morning, sir.
Yes, thank you, Mr. McClelland. Thank you for your patience. As I indicated, the applicant has deferred the application to deal with urban forestry issues, which means it will come back to the committee and will be subject to another hearing, at which time you can also make your comments on that revised application. We're certainly willing to hear your comments now, although you may want to hold off until the application comes back to the committee.
Yes, I will also defer on speaking about this hotel.
And remember, you still have the opportunity to contact the applicant directly. Their contact information is available from the committee.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. McClelland. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, too.
Thank you, committee members, for your patience. Item number 3, 27 DIVADALE Drive.
Hello, good morning.
Okay, Mr. Nourzadeh, are you you're the applicant?
Yes. Sir.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the applicant. I'm the owner as well.
Okay, I'm just going to ask the committee members. It's pretty straightforward what you're asking for in the application. I'll just ask the committee members if it has any questions or if it would like a presentation. No, if that being the case, I'll just ask the committee if I could get a motion on this application, please. Ms. Sankar?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I motion to approve this application. I do believe it meets the 4 tests, as well as it will be subject to forestry.
Thank you. Someone to second that motion? Mr. Bartolo seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries. Sir, your application has been unanimously approved, subject to urban forestry conditions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thanks for your patience. Item number 4, 166 Castlefield Avenue. I have the applicants are Joanna and Kit Millens. Are you there?
Yes, this is Joanna Milne.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to ask before you start, have you had the opportunity to read the city planning report of March 17th, 2020? They have you seen that report? Hello?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
You're aware of their recommended conditions? That the property be developed substantially in accordance with the elevation drawings submitted to the committee? And that they also have a recommending that variance number 2 for the proposed front yard setback apply only to the one-story partial front porch enclosure, and the existing second floor comply with the bylaw requirement. You're aware of those conditions?
We are aware of those, yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll just ask the committee, does the committee require a presentation, or does it have any questions? Does the committee have any questions, or would it like a presentation? Okay, thank you. Could I get a motion on? Oh, I'm Ms. Sankar.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to acknowledge that there was a letter of correspondence in opposition from someone by the name of Nikki Cameron, but I have reviewed that, and I'm willing to make a motion.
Okay, Ms. Sankar, please feel free.
Yeah, so with respect to this application, I have looked through this carefully, and I do believe that it meets the 4 tests. I will apply the staff conditions of the staff report, which is dated March 17th, 2020. So I motion to approve this application, and it will be subject to the conditions of that staff report, that the property be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan and east side elevation drawings submitted to the committee, and that variance number 2 of the proposed front yard setback apply only to the one-story partial front porch enclosure, and the existing second floor comply with the bylaw requirement. And that's my motion.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Have someone to second Ms. Sankar's motion? Ms. Adderati seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries. This application has been unanimously approved, subject to the city planning conditions dated the 17th of March, 2020. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're a number. We're on item number 5, 470 Merton Street. Is the agent here?
Yes.
Can you please?
I'm Heather Asquith.
Yes, Ms. Asquith, can you please give us your name and your address, please?
Yes, it's Heather Asquith, 349 Carlaw Avenue, Suite 206.
Okay, thank you, madam. Have you had the opportunity to read the city planning report dated the 17th of March 2020?
Yes, we received that report and made the subsequent revisions to the drawings that were submitted here on the Committee of Adjustment.
Now, I see the recommended changes that they have in their report, and you made those changes?
We made all of those changes, yes.
Okay, and you're also aware of the condition that if the committee approves the application, they would like a permanent opaque screening or fencing along the west edge of the deck?
Yes, and we're fine with that.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Madam, I also need you to if you could, for the record, if you could please read us the changes that you made to your application.
Yes. So the modifications we made were to variance 2. So we changed the proposed side exterior main wall height from 8.28 meters to 8 meters.
Okay.
Then with regard to variance 4, we changed the proposed building depth from 18.76 meters to 17.41 meters.
Okay.
And then with regard to variance number 5, we changed the proposed rear deck setback from the west property line from 0.3 meters to 0.6 meters.
I see that. Okay, thank you.
And with regard to variance 6, we repositioned the garage to eliminate that variance for the east yard side setback. So that variance number 6 would be eliminated.
Okay, thank you. I just also wanted to emphasize, we did have a report from Urban Forestry. They were recommending refusal of variance number 6. I guess there was some issue with its potential impact on trees. Now,
Yes.
Are you?
So we understand that we would need to apply for an application to remove or injure that tree with regard to the design for that garage. So we understand we'll need to work with them to make that work properly.
Okay, thank you. You're aware that if the committee does approve your application, it would be subject to urban forestry conditions, and there would be other requirements through them that you'd have to comply with.
Yes, we understand that.
Okay, thank you. I'll just ask the committee, does the committee have any questions, or would it like any questions that require any further information? Okay, thank you. Could I get a motion on this revised application, please? Oh, I'm sorry. That's the property owner. Okay, let me see. Mr. Patty, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Can you please give us your name and address, please?
Certainly. My name is Angus Patey, and I'm at 24 Carmichael Drive, Toronto, Ontario.
Okay, and if you could, what would you like to tell the committee?
I'm just here an observer. Heather is looking after everything at this point, so I'm just here to observe.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of the speaker? There being none, thank you. If I could get a motion on this revised application, please?
If there is no other question from my panel member, I want to put forward to you, Mr. Chair. I want to put forward a motion to approve this application with the following changes. Variance number 2, the side exterior main wall facing on sightline is now 8 meter. Variance number 4, the proposed building depth is 17.41. Variance number 5, the rear platform will be set back 0.6 meter, and variance number 6 to be eliminated and also subjected to forestry, urban forestry.
Thank you, Ms. Adirati. Someone to second Ms. Adirati's motion? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? Thank you. That approval is unanimous. This application has been unanimously approved, subject to city planning conditions and urban forestry conditions. Thank you very much, folks, for your patience.
Thank you.
We're now on item number 6. 750 Wilson Heights Boulevard. Is the applicant here, Mr. Franco?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Franco. Can you get your name and address, please?
My name is Ivan Franco, and my address is 5359 Dundas Street West, Suite 200, Toronto, Ontario.
Okay, thank you, sir. I just wanted to ask you if you've had the opportunity to see the Transportation Services June 1st report indicating that they actually have no objections to your parking shortfall.
Yes, I have seen that, and I'm
Okay,
happy about that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to ask the committee if it has any questions or if it would like a presentation. No, and I note that there's no one else is registered to speak on this item. If I could get a motion on this application, please. Ms. Sankar?
Yes, sir. Through you, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve this application.
Thank you. Someone to second Ms. Sankar's motion? Mr. Bartolo seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries. Mr. Franco, your application has been unanimously approved without condition. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for your patience. Item number 7, 71 Cheritan Avenue. And let me see the speakers. We have the agent, which is an Arlene Beaumont. Are you there, madam?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, madam. Can I get your name and address, please?
Yes, Arlene Beaumont. I'm with the firm of Outred and Associates. Our address is 2140 Winston Park Drive, Suite 28 in Oakville.
Okay, thank you, madam. I'm just looking at, let me go. Madam, have you had the opportunity to read the city planning report dated the 17th of March, 2020?
Yes, I have.
You've seen their recommended condition?
Yes, I have.
Okay, thank you. I'm just to let you know, I'm sure you've seen the Transportation Services report of the 25th of May. They have no objections to your application.
Again, we're very happy about that. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to see, does the committee require a presentation, or does it have any comments?
I do, sir. I would like to just hear a bit of a presentation and a little bit about variance number 3.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Madam, Ms. Beaumont, could you
Yes.
give us a presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal?
Certainly. So the home that has been designed for this property is a very traditional style center hall plan dwelling. 7 variances are required. The variances, in my opinion, are very much in keeping with the type and breadth of variances that have been approved previously for other new builds or additions in this neighborhood. The item number 3, which is floor space index, we're proposing 0.6842. That is very much in keeping with other new builds and additions that have been done in the neighborhood. And I wanted to stress that front and rear yard setbacks are respected. We do have a side yard setback variance as well, but front and rear yard have been, and one side yard has been respected.
Okay, thank you, madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Okay, thank you. I notice on our participants list, we have a Ms. Mary Ash Smith, who is scheduled to comment on this application. Madam, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Speaker, I think we did have a question from the...
Yes, Ms. Smith, if you have the opportunity to make your concerns known about this application, please.
Sure. Thank you very much. My name again is Mary Ashbourne Smith, and I am a neighbor on East Side at 69 Cheritan. And I specifically wanted to talk just a minute around variance number 5, which is related to the minimum required yard setback. And while the reference in the document talks about the west side, I just wanted to mention about the east side, which It indicates on the plan that it's a walkway of setback is 1.2 meters, which I think is just probably right within variance. But my concern is that along that walkway, there are 3 very large window wells that have been put in the plan that are quite deep, and they seem to take up almost 2/3 of the walkway area, leaving a very small space, and my guesstimate is around maybe 0.4 meters of the walkway space. Previous to this, the potential new build, we both would have access to our backyards through that walkway space, which on our side is about 1.3 meters at the start, but only 0.89 meters at the end. And by having these window wells, it takes out a significant amount of the walking area. And I think it would be difficult to navigate. And, you know, I could foresee even pulling garbage cans down, make it more difficult to get around it, and restricts the snow shoveling. And, you know, my mother-in-law is in a wheelchair, and sometimes we have to go down that laneway to get her into the backyard. And while I think we could probably just make it with those window wells, I think it will make it a difficult thing to navigate. Further, we have an air conditioner unit at the back of our house. And at the back of our house, our allowance, or the side yard, is only 0.89. And if you take out the window well, which is going to be right across from the air conditioner, I don't know that either of the families, theirs or ours, are going to easily be able to kind of get through there. So it just seems to be problematic to me around this setback and the way that the plan is for the house.
Okay, thank you, Madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Ms. Sankar?
Yes. Hi, Ms. Ash. Thanks for your testimony today. I wanted to also raise that it's not just on your side. I do see that the neighbor to the right at or I guess to the west at number 73, Selma Lussenberg, has raised some concerns, and some of them were similar. And she's also concerned about 5 feet of the front yard setback, not keeping with the neighborhood where houses have a deep setback, and a number of other concerns. I just want to be really clear. What are you expecting, or what would you like to see happen here? I just want to get an idea of what would be the resolution for you, if any.
Well, for me personally, I think, as I say, it appears that the very window wells that go out into the walkway. So I was hoping to be able to get, maybe if there's a way to reduce that, so that I understand that you definitely would like some light into your basement as part of the plan, but I don't know if there's an opportunity to not encroach as much onto that walkway area, so that we'd have a clearer passage to go through between the 2 houses, which again, it's both of us have. That's our only access to the backyard, and both have side doors there. So it's quite limiting. So I don't know if there's something that could be done to impact that design.
Any further questions of the speaker? No, thank you, Madam. Ms. Beaumont, are you there? You have the opportunity to address the concerns raised by the previous speaker.
Yes. Yes, thank you. With respect to the window wells, I can certainly go back to my client and ask that they be narrowed slightly to provide a little bit more room to walk through between the 2 houses. I think that they would be amenable to that. However, I would like to point out that that's not the side that the minor variance is on. The minor variance is for the other side of the house next to 73 Cheritan. However, I'm certain my clients would be willing to work with the owners of 69 and potentially narrow those a little bit, so that it provides clearer access to the rear yards through that walkway.
Is it possible to indicate what type, would that involve a change requiring a variance? Another variance?
I don't think so, because there is a sufficient setback on that side So just narrowing those window wells, I don't think would require another variance, no.
Okay, so what you're saying is that in the public forum, you're stating that you're prepared to work with Ms. Smith to address this issue to her satisfaction?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, we
thank you.
will.
Any questions of the speaker? There being none? Can I get a motion on this application, please? Can I get a motion on this application, please?
Mr. Chair, I do have one question for the applicant, and it's sort of just based on the information that we've received from the stakeholder today, but also a letter of concern from the West Side owner. And have you, the applicant, seen that letter from number 73?
Ms. Beaumont,
Yes, we
are you
have.
there?
Okay.
Yes, I am. Yes, we have.
Is there any way you can, for me, talk a little bit about the request that they're saying that the reduction of the depth, the front yard setback, is not keeping with the neighborhood? I don't see that they've talked a little bit, about some of the other concerns that they've raised may not be within this forum to address, but in terms of seeing that, that's something that we could look at. And I'm wondering if you are able to sort of share what your thoughts are on that.
So my clients provided me with a very nice sketch, and unfortunately I can't share it with you, but it shows that the setback for the home at 69 is slightly in front of their home, their proposed home. And then the setback for number 73 is slightly behind theirs. So they're almost like an average between those two homes. It gives, as you come around a little bit of a curve of the street, each home is set back just slightly further. So it creates a nice line, what they have proposed. We are respecting the front yard setback requirement in the bylaw. We are not asking for a front yard variance.
Okay.
Ms.
Okay,
Sanker, does that answer your?
that helps me. Yes, it does. And so, not sure if my colleagues have any other questions. I feel ready for a motion.
Yes,
through you,
if,
Mr.
yes, if you please make a motion.
Okay, so my motion, and this is based on what I've heard today and looking at the application, I do accept the many explanations that have been provided by the applicant here today. With respect to the stakeholder who did come on to speak, and I thank her for her time. I do believe that this agreement cannot be enforced within this committee realm, but because it's now going to be publicly aired, I'm sure that there's something that can be worked out between the two parties. With that in mind, I will motion to approve this application and make it subject to forestry. That's my motion.
There's also the city planning report conditions that they have to be built
Yes,
substantially.
absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Someone to second
So I
Ms.
will put,
Someone to second Ms.
sorry,
Sanker's
I will
motion.
make sure that.
So I would like to do a friendly amendment. I want to add this sentence that the second floor length would not be exceed 17.1 meters. If Mrs. Sankar accepts this friendly amendment.
Okay, so Ms. Adirati, you would like an amendment that states that the second floor will not exceed
17.1 meters.
will not exceed 17.1 meters. Ms. Sankar, are you okay with that amendment?
Yes, I accept that amendment. Thank you, Ms. Attarodi.
Thank you.
And then subjected to forestry, and so I'll second it.
Okay, seconds. All those in favor?
Sorry, just
All those in favor?
just gonna go ahead. If a motion's put forward, you can vote on it. I have a question on the amendment. But
I'm sorry, we're in a motion right now, so no, I'm sorry, we can't take any for.
Well, if
Joe?
Mr. Bartolo have a question, I can withdraw my amendment and we can listen to
Oh,
his,
I'm sorry, Mr. Bartolo, did you have a question?
yeah, I have a question on the proposed friendly amendment on
Okay,
what
please
impact
go
it
ahead.
would have on the current I just have the drawings in front of me, and if the second floor is limited to 17 meters in length, what effect will that have on the current proposed set of plans? Is that going to require a modification from the applicant?
Sorry, Mr.
Not a
Bartolo. Sorry, Mr. Bartolo. Can you speak up, please? Louder and clearly.
What I was
Clearly.
asking
Thank you.
is the proposed friendly amendment. I was just going through the documents here, and I was wondering what effect that's going to have on the application that's been presented before us. If that's going to change it in any way, or if it's going to remain. I just have to go through.
it will be remain. It's the number 17.1 is based on their drawing. So because this application based on variance number 1 and 2, they have a length and depth. So I would like to put that second floor length numbers so that the building won't go all the way to level at 20.25 depth and the length.
Understood.
Are you happy with that friendly amendment,
answers
Mr.
my
Bartolo? Okay, thank you. All those
Okay,
in
so
favor?
Mr. Chair, through you, I will continue with the motion and accept Ms. Sataroti's
Okay, so we have,
friendly amendment.
let me just be clear here, we have Ms. Sankar moving approval of the application with Ms. Adarati's friendly amendment that the second floor will not exceed 17.1 meters and there's urban forestry conditions. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Beaumont, you understand that the application has been approved subject to city planning conditions, urban forestry, as well as the friendly amendment that's the second floor will not exceed 17.1 meters.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for your patience, folks. Item number 8, 159 Young Boulevard. And we have the agent here, Mr. Mozafari. I hope I've got that right. Sir, if you're there, can you
Yes.
please give us your name, your full name and your address, please?
Hi, yes, I'm here. This is Nushin Mozafari from Hyphen Studio. I'm representing on behalf of my owner, my client, the owner of 159 Young Boulevard.
Okay, just let me get my application to come up here. Have you had the opportunity to read the city planning report of the 17th of March?
Yes, we had a back and forth with the planning department, and the result is the supportive staff report that they gave us regarding the revision that we had on the deck, which is already submitted to the committee.
Okay, so you understand that they wanted variance number 1 changed. Have you modified that variance?
Yes, we have reduced the deck projection from 427 meter to 3.5 meter. Yes.
Okay. And you've also seen their other recommended conditions about providing opaque screening along the north edge of the deck. And of course, that you developed the plan substantially in accordance with the drawings attached to their report.
Yes, Exactly.
Okay.
We are okay with having a privacy on the north side of the deck.
Okay. Thank you, madam. We have no one else scheduled to depute on this item. I'll just ask the committee, does it have any questions or would it like a presentation? No? Thank you very much. Could I get a motion on this application, please? Ms. Sankar?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I accept the changes that were made here today by the applicant so that it meets staff recommendations. I'll motion to approve this application with the following changes: that variance number 1, the proposed rear deck projects 3.5 meters, that the applicant is to provide permanent opaque screening or fencing along the north edge of that proposed deck of a minimum height of 1.5 meters, and that the property be developed substantially in accordance with the revised site plan and revised north and south side elevation drawings submitted to the committee, and it will be subject to forestry. That's my motion, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Someone to second Ms. Sankar's motion? Mr. Bartolo seconds. All those in favor? That application is unanimously approved, subject to city planning and urban forestry conditions. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you.
Okay, we are now on item number 9, 5 to 15 Brookbanks Drive. And we have the applicant, Chris Stoyanovich. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
Can I get your full name and address, please?
It's Chris Thomas Stoyanovich, 110 Bedford Park Avenue, Toronto, Ontario.
Thank you, sir. Just give me a moment here. I'm just trying to go through my files to get to... Sir, I just wanted to ask, have you had the opportunity to see the... There was a report from Toronto Region Conservation Authority. They have no objections to the proposal. City Planning has had no objections to the proposal, but they were recommending soft landscaping between the garbage enclosure and the road allowance. Now, have you seen
Yes,
that
sir.
report?
Yes, I have. And we accommodated the city planner's request by adding a landscaping on drawings that we shared with the Committee of Adjustment and Planning staff some time ago. So they were part of the application that was circulated to all of the various interests and parties. So yes, we agree with the planning report, and we've added the landscaping as requested.
So is it, I just wanted to ask, because I've been out to see the site, and it's basically all hard surface from the curb line of the street to where the enclosure, the garbage enclosure will be. I'm just
sorry,
asking
sir.
you,
Sorry, on the
if you put soft
on the original draw.
if you
Sorry,
put
sir.
okay, if you put soft landscaping there in that area, that small area between the garbage enclosure and the road limit of the road allowance, is it going to survive?
Well, we're going to work with the landscape architect to ensure that it is hardier species of grasses and shrubs.
Okay.
And we'll ensure that the material, the soil volumes there are sufficient to support the landscaping that was recommended by staff.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. I'll just ask I noticed that there's no one else who has signed up to depute on this application. I'll just ask the committee, does it have any questions or would it like a presentation? No. Could I get a motion on this application, please? Ms. Adirati?
Okay, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with considering the staff condition, which the area identified on the garage enclosure plan attached to the report as new landscape area be provided and maintained as soft landscaping.
Thank you, Ms. Adirati. Someone to second Ms. Adirati's motion? Mr. Bartolo seconds. All those in favor? Sir, your application has been unanimously approved, subject to city planning conditions.
Thank you, committee
Thank you,
members and
sir.
staff.
Thank you for your patience. Item number 10, 358 Glen Park Avenue. I notice we have the applicant is here, Mr. Marin Zabzuni. Are you there, sir?
Good morning. Yes, I am here.
Can I get your full name and address, please?
My name is Marin Zabzuni. I'm the agent for 358 Glen Park Avenue.
Okay, thank you, sir. I just wanted to ask, have you had the opportunity to read the city planning report dated the 17th of March, 2020?
Yes,
They were recommending that the variance number 4, which relates to the number of stories you're proposing, be refused. So I would suggest that I will ask the committee, would the committee like a presentation on this in view of the recommendation for refusal from the planning department on that one variance?
I appreciate a presentation.
Okay. Thank you, sir. You have the opportunity to make a presentation on your views on the proposal from city planning, and if you could focus on that particular issue, thank you.
Yes, thank you. We have been working actually quite closely with city planning and have made several revisions before we sent in the revised zoning notice and drawings. So we had reduced rear deck area, building height, and we removed lot coverage variance even. So in regards to the comments from city planning, this is more of a technical variance as we are only proposing a 2-story dwelling plus basement. As mentioned in the variance, the mechanical room is closer to the established grade, which triggers the basement as being considered the first floor under the zoning bylaw. We've compiled several decisions in the neighborhood that have approved dwellings, which are indicated as 3 stories as a variance. We even have taken a lot of photos on the street to show that kind of massing, and I'm not sure if, I'd be able to stream. This is my first virtual hearing, so bear with me. But it's quite common. What we're building, our building envelope, is quite common in the area. And we have gone to great lengths and efforts to make sure that the house for the homeowners is very reasonable and fitting as a minor variance in the area, as this is their forever home for their family. And we're not asking anything that is out of character. And we have a lot of evidence of that.
Okay, thank you, sir. I wanted to ask, I've been out to Glen Park Avenue. The building you're proposing architecturally is, at least the frontage of the proposed building, its facade and the way it's configured, it's similar to a number of other newer homes on the street. Is that correct?
Definitely correct. And we have photos that I'm happy to stream or send right now to show that.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to ask, does the committee have any further questions of the speaker?
Just a quick question regarding the variance number 2 and 3, the exterior main wall height. So would you please explain what triggered that variance to have that numbers?
Absolutely. So the reason for this variance is due to proposing an architectural feature wall for the portion of the front facade. The vast majority of the wall height for the building is actually 8.77 meters to the underside of the soffit. We essentially lowered the soffit height roof as much as we can while maintaining enough height for the garage door to operate normally. It's a very modest garage height, and this is very common in the area too. But we're trying to have kind of a refreshing architectural design. So these little features add to the variance essentially, but it's more to complement the streetscape and add to the curb appeal. And this is kind of common too on some of the other projects or buildings, existing buildings on the street. There is some modern ones and some traditional with stone feature walls that protrude past the soffit height on the very same street. So this is the reason for that variance.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any further questions of the speaker? I notice that we have no one scheduled to speak on this item, so if I could get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Bartolo?
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to put forward a motion to approve this application so long as it is developed substantially in accordance with the plan submitted and subject to conditions of the urban forestry report from May 22nd, 2020.
Okay, thank you, sir. Someone to second Mr. Bartolo's motion? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Ms. Adorati opposed. Mr. Bartolo's motion carries. Sir, your application has been approved, and let me just, your application has been approved, and just, is it subject to city planning conditions? Because city planning conditions, is confirm that motion, Mr. Bartolo. The city planning conditions were that variance number 4 be refused, which was related to the number of stories. So are you approving the application without conditions, with just urban forestry conditions?
That's correct.
Okay, that's, and Ms., pardon me? I have a question for Mr. Antonacci. Which plans would you like approved? Is that the plans, you want it constructed according to the plans submitted to the committee and filed with the committee that you have before us today?
Did we lose him? I can't hear anything.
Are you asking me?
I think that they're having a conversation between planning and the chair separate.
Mr. Bartolo, which plans should he be tied to? Is he going to be tied to the plans submitted with this application?
That's correct. I'm looking at the plans in the June 11 WebEx final that were submitted this morning. Looking at
Yes,
yeah,
those are the plans submitted to the committee. Yes.
that's right. Yes.
Okay, and we're not, and you're not going with this. You're not refusing variance number 4 as recommended by city planning.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. And an urban forestry condition. I'm sorry to be.
That's okay.
My apologies.
It's a new format for everybody here.
Someone to second Mr. Bartolo's motion. Ms. Sankar seconds.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Again, Ms. Adorati opposed. That motion carries subject to urban forestry conditions. Sir, did you get that?
Thank you very much. Have a great
Okay,
day.
thank you very much. Okay, we are adjourned till 1 o'clock. Ms. Sankar, Ms. Adorati, and Mr. Bartolo, thanks very much for your patience. This is new for me, so thank you very much.
You're
See
doing
you at
great,
1 o'clock.
Mr. Chair.
We'll see you at
You're
1
doing a
o'clock.
good
Yeah, 1 o'clock. Yeah, it's fairly smooth, especially for a first run. So
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank
see
you.
you at 1 o'clock. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, folks.
Mr. Bartolo, before you go, never mind.